This is an article that I think I should share with every one of us here on this platform. The Biafra Declaration of Independence, getting the narrative right and straight. Most times, Nigerians are usually not ready to make research into certain narratives and tales, but rather we always swallow every fallacy brought to us hook, line, and sinker. Despite the fact that it costs virtually nothing to make research, more especially in this era of internet and social media, which is readily at the tips of our fingers. Now, that's not to say that every information you find on the internet is correct or is right. Many have tried to make us believe that the Declaration of Biafra Independence by Dame Chukwemeka Odumegu Ojoku was an act of greed, warmongering, and merely a show of power of dominance by Igbo. While in some quarters, many, especially those from the coastal region of Biafra, were made to believe that they were forced into the new independence Biafra, whereas it was all lies because the old elders from the 27 provinces of Biafra, which includes those from the riverine area, who are today made to believe that they are not part of Biafra's struggle for independence, have their full consent and mandated Ojukwu to make the declaration in order to stay alive. And I'm talking about the South. This is after the murdering the murder of over 30,000. Some people said over 1 million, were killed. Well, in the north anyway, they said about 30,000 Easterners in the northern part of Nigeria were killed. They were hacked down. And they said no wonder history was removed from our school curriculum and we were denied same during our school days. A plot by these mischievous individuals who want us to remain in the dark. Now, I'm going to go through this history archive. The Biafran Declaration. The following is taken from C. Odumegu Ojukwu, Biafra. Selected speeches and random thoughts. We, the chief elders and representatives of Eastern Nigeria, gathered at this joint meeting of the Advisory Committee of Chiefs and Elders and the Consultative Assembly, do solemnly declare as follows. The resolution passed on May 27, 1967. Whereas we have been in the vanguard of the national movement for the building of a strong, united, and prosperous Nigeria, where no man will be oppressed, and have devoted our efforts, talents, and resources to this end. Whereas we cherish certain inalienable human rights and state obligations, such as the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the right to acquire, possess, defend property, provision of security, and establishment of good and just government based on the consent of the governed. Whereas, in practical and demonstration of these beliefs, our people settled in other parts of Nigeria served their country in many capacities and contributed immensely to the growth and development of Nigeria. Whereas we are living witnesses of injustice and atrocities committed against Eastern Nigeria, among which are the premeditated murder of over 30,000 of our innocent men and women and children by Northern Nigerians, the calculated destruction of property of our sons and daughters, the shameless conversions of 2 billion Eastern Nigerians into refugee in their own country, all this without remorse. Whereas in consequence of this and other acts of discrimination and injustice, we have painfully realized that the Federation of Nigeria has failed and has given us no protection. Whereas in spite of this fact, the government and people of Eastern Nigeria have persisted in their efforts to find a practical and just solution that will preserve the continued existence of Nigeria as one corporate unit and restore peace and confidence, as demonstrated by the initiative of our military governor in getting all the military leaders together at Aburi, Ghana. Whereas the hopes which the Aburi Agreement engendered have proved to be misplaced and have been destroyed by a series of acts of bad faith and distortions, and finally by a refusal on the part of the government to implement this and other agreement, notwithstanding the fact that they were freely and voluntarily entered into. Whereas the Federation of Nigeria has forfeited any claim to our allegiance by this act and by the economic, political, and diplomatic sanctions imposed against us by the so-called federal government. And whereas the object of government is the good of the governed and the will of the people, its ultimate sanction. Now, therefore, in consideration of this and other fact and injustice, we, the chiefs, elders, and representatives of all the 20 provinces of Eastern Nigeria, assembled in this joint meeting of the Advisory Committee of Chiefs and Elders and the Consultative Assembly at Enugu this 27th day of May 1967, hereby solemnly mandate His Excellency Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ujuku, military governor of Eastern Nigeria, to declare at the earliest practicable date Eastern Nigeria a free, sovereign, and independent state by the name and the title of the Republic of Biafra. Resolved that the new Republic of Biafra shall have the full and absolute powers of a sovereign state and shall establish commerce, levy war, conclude peace, enter into diplomatic relations, and carry out as of right other sovereign responsibilities. Direct that the Republic of Biafra may enter into arrangements with any sovereign unit or units in what remains of Nigeria or in any part of Africa desirous of association with us for the purpose of running a common services organization and for the establishment of economic ties. Recommend that the Republic of Biafra should become a member of the Commonwealth of Nations, the Organization of African Unity, and the United Nations Organization. Recommend the adoption of a federal constitution based on the new provincial unit. Reaffirm His Excellency's assurance of protection for the persons, properties, and businesses of foreign nationals in our territory. Declare our confidence in the military governor of Eastern Nigeria, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ujuku, and assure him of our unreserved support for the way and manner he has handled the crisis in the country. So help us God. The declaration made by Colonel Ujuku, fellow countrymen and women, you, the people of Eastern Nigeria, conscious of the supreme authority of the Almighty God over all mankind, of your duty to yourselves and posterity, aware that you can no longer be protected in your lives and in your property by any government based outside Eastern Nigeria, believing that you are born free and have certain inalienable rights which can best be preserved by yourselves, unwilling to be unfree partners in any association of a political or economic nature, rejecting the authority of any person or persons other than the military government of Eastern Nigeria to make any imposition of whatever kind or nature upon you, determined to dissolve all political and other ties between you and the former Republic of Nigeria, prepared to enter into such association, treaty, or alliance with any sovereign state within the former Federal Republic of Nigeria and elsewhere in such terms and conditions as best to subserve your common good. Affirming your trust and confidence in me, having mandated me to proclaim on your behalf and in your name the Eastern Nigeria be a sovereign independent republic. Now therefore I, Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ujuku, military governor of Eastern Nigeria, by virtue of the authority and pursuant to the principles recited above, do hereby solemnly proclaim that the territory and region known and called Eastern Nigeria, together with our continental shelf and territorial waters, shall henceforth be an independent sovereign state of the name and title of the Republic of Biafra. And I do declare that all political ties between us and the Federal Republic of Nigeria are hereby totally dissolved. All subsisting contractual obligations entered into by the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or by any person, authority, organization, or government acting on its behalf with any person, authority, organization, or relating to any matter or thing within the Republic of Biafra shall henceforth be deemed to be entered into with the military governor of the Republic of Biafra for and on behalf of the government and people of the Republic of Biafra, and the covenants therefore shall, subject to this declaration, be performed by the parties according to their tenor. Steps will be taken to open discussions on the question of Eastern Nigeria due to share of the assets of the Federation of Nigeria and personal properties of the citizens of Biafra throughout the Federation of Nigeria. We shall keep the door open for association with and would welcome any sovereign unit or units in the former Federation of Nigeria or in any other part of Africa desirous of association with us for the purpose of running a common service organization and for the establishment of economic ties. It is our intention to remain a member of the British Commonwealth of Nations in our right as a sovereign independent nation. Long live the Republic of Biafra, and may God protect all who live in her. Now, all these are very deep. It shows the knowledge and the understanding that the people had in those days. At this moment, a lot of people have not done much research. A lot of people have not taken time to go backwards and look inwards. A lot of people are shouting Biafra, Biafra, and joining one movement or the other without proper understanding of some basic facts and the purpose. Some people believe it is only the Hausa Fulani that is the issue, and that is the only reason why Biafra must exist. Many people do not know that there are much more that are involved in this. A lot of people thought it is aside tribal issues involved in this. Yes, we cannot run away from the fact that there are tribal issues there. Well, it is known that the Fulanis, the Fula people that have constituted majority of the nuisance that we have in Nigeria, they are the ones that have imposed themselves on other people. But there is something else as we look forward towards this new nation. As you probably must have listened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, what he has said over time. As you move towards this progressive ideology, there is something I want you to also consider, that it is not only about Hausa Fulani. Hausas are indigenous to Nigeria. Fulanis are not. It's not only about that. It is also about ourselves. Let us look within our circles. Let us look within our ethnic group. Let us look within our kinsmen. There are people there that are the same mirror of the people that you are pointing fingers at. And those people need to be looked into. You know why? There's always a proverb. They say, if the rat inside does not tell the one outside that there is food, it won't come in. So there are saboteurs inside also. And we ourselves, we should also look at the issue of corruption. Now, all this that I've read might sound as history to some people, and they're like, oh, that was Biafra in those days. But the truth of the matter is this: a lot of people have died, a lot of blood have been shed just to actualize freedom. This is not a joke. So no one should take Biafra or take the breakaway from Nigeria as a joke. Blood was shed for this. A lot of people that would become medical doctors, that would have become great people, died. A lot of people are still suffering from that war that should never have happened. So we shouldn't take this for granted. Blood was shed, and this blood are still crying for vengeance. And the only way to appease is for this nation to break apart, and for everybody to do the right thing. Not just for the nation to break apart, but for people to do the right things and put the nation in the right direction. A lot of people sacrifice themselves for this, and it's not a joke. So I don't know what you think about the declaration and all of this that, went on, the narrative and everything that went on back then, and what brought about Biafra and the Civil War. Drop your comment in the section below. Do you have more about this that you want to share with us?